What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Mab, and I had to come and make this video in the cloak of anonymity, and just really speak on it because I don't really have time to make a video. But as new things happen, majority of the times I gotta kind of get my statements in when I get time to actually talk. But basically, if you did not know, there's a lot of chatter that's going around right now where people are just basically just talking out their ass. Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp. I mean, it's like, come on. It's like I'm a LeBron James fan, but come on, dude. It's like these people think Andre Drummond versus Lamarcus Aldridge is an actual trigger. First thing I'll say to that stupid question is, if you put Lamarcus Aldridge, if let's say you're just having an open tryout, right? All these players are coming in, nobody name on the team. They all just coming in to play, right? Clearly, the first two people out there that you're probably gonna pick is probably LeBron James. And Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, kind of a wash. You don't know. Depends on what you value. But LeBron James probably gonna be the first player you pick because he's big, athletic, can shoot, can do a million things. Kevin Durant is one of those players that just looks tall and lanky till he starts playing and you realize how skilled he is. So and AD's kind of tall and lanky, but he's also the same thing. But KD is kind of like you can't look at them and tell they're a good basketball player. But when they start playing, you probably go and pick up maybe AD or KD. It depends on what you like. If you want somebody who's in a post, you're probably gonna pick AD. If you want somebody who's more of a perimeter player, you probably pick KD. But the point about it is, you probably go LeBron AD first or LeBron KD first. Now you got left over. You probably your next pick. If I'm talking about if you just have Lakers and Nets players there. After you pick LeBron and AD, before you get to another Laker player that they might pick, because you're going to go probably Harden, Kyrie, Aldridge, Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the way I look at basketball, right? And there's nowhere in the world you picking Andre Drummond over LaMarcus Aldridge. You're just not. You know what I'm saying? I heard Shannon Sharp say, he can do what Dwight Howard. No, he can't. He can't do what Dwight Howard did. Dwight Howard could actually guard the perimeter. Drummond can't guard the perimeter whatsoever. He cannot guard the perimeter. So, I mean, he can't do what Dwight did. Not at all. Not even close. So what he can provide for the Lakers is a center that can take the ball off the glass. And that's really what he can do. He can rebound. He has a big body. He can rebound. He's a big body. He can back people down. He's a big body, and he can finish around the rim from alleys and stuff like that. 100% true. He has a Shaq type of game to him that can really fit what the Lakers do. Only the Lakers. You would send him to the Nets, he wouldn't fit. Just like I said about Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is going to be a role player off the bench, and even if he plays, I don't see him scoring consistently. I just think he's going to be all over the place. He'll have one game where, like he had the other game, where he'll have 17 points, because you can clearly see that they were playing the Pistons, so they were trying their best to try to get him going, and Kyrie didn't play in that game. So I think he's going to be unhappy probably about 3 or 4 games in. Aldridge, I think, is more of a need, so he's gonna be way more pivotal than Blake Griffin is. Than Blake Griffin was. That's why, but what really pisses me off is not so much that people are saying this dumb shit about, the LeBron fans who are trying to delude themselves into believing that that Andre Drummond is a better pickup than LaMarcus Aldridge on the Nets. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Like, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge on the Lakers is not a better fit than Andre Drummond. He's not. But on the Nets, he's a better addition to the Nets than he would have been a better addition to the Lakers. So you can make the argument that the Nets really, what is he going to really do? He's going to do a lot for the Nets. They can play so many different schemes now with him in the offense that they never could before. And it's just, to me, especially when it comes down to guarding players, right? Drummond really helps to, yes, you can make the argument that both players help these players. The Lakers are more of a tough, gritty, defensive first team with two really good offensive players, right? But they hang their hat on the defensive side. Drummond is really going to help that because he's a monster of a rebounder. And when you're playing a defense like the Lakers play, and when you're always forcing people into tough shots, it's very important to have a rebounder who can snatch those rebounds after you have a good defensive possession. That is very important. So Drummond is very good in that sense. You know, you got LeBron, AD, and him. I mean, it's gonna be hard to get a rebound, even for the Nets. It's gonna be very, very hard for them to get a rebound against the Lakers with those three monsters in there, right? So I understand Drummond is a huge pickup for the Lakers, and I understand that. But defensively, he is not stopping the Nets. Okay? He is not. He will be played off the court against the Nets. Aldridge is not going to be trying to back him in. Aldridge is going to be staying out there, running pick and rolls, in which he flares out. He's going to either be running pick and rolls or flares, or he's going to be standing out there at the three-point line trying to force, as a decoy, trying to force Drummond out, because he is a capable three-point shooter that you have to respect. So what do you got? What is left? You know what I mean? Drummond is not going to be able to play. He's going to be unplayable against the Nets. So I would say advantage Nets. That's my only. Now everybody else, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for the Bucks. He'll be a problem for the Heat. He'll be a problem for every other team but the Nets, in which they run up and down and play small ball. He's going to be unplayable. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that Drummond is not a good player, and I think that's what people need to understand. They keep construing how good of an addition he is for the Lakers with how good of an addition he will be against the Nets. Against the Nets, it's going to come down to LeBron and AD, period. And LeBron and AD are good enough to play against all five of those guys, right? LeBron and AD alone can beat those four. You know what I'm saying? They can beat, because really it's not Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's all right. You know what I'm saying? He was talking today. Everybody said I'm sorry. I was sucky. First of all, I never said Blake Griffin sucked. Anybody go look at my video, I never said Blake Griffin sucked. I said the truth. Blake Griffin was playing on a bad team, and he was hurt. He's been hurt. So and to be honest, he keeps saying everybody said he sucked. I don't even remember anybody really, except for when he got signed by the Nets. The Nets people were saying he sucked. Everybody else was up in arm about him going to the Nets. So I don't even know where he gets that from. Nobody even talked about him when he was in Detroit. So I don't know where he's getting this narrative. Maybe Detroit fans thought he sucked, but normal player people just never thought. I forgot Blake Griffin was even in the league, let alone sit around talking about him. I don't remember them having any discussions about Blake Griffin, let alone trying to act like somebody changed the narrative. Nobody changed no narrative on you, Blake Griffin. You were always that same narrative. Blake Griffin, all right. You know what I'm saying? And now it's the same narrative. Yeah, all right, but you put him with, you put all right with three Hall of Famers, four. You know what I'm saying? Really four or five if you add Blake Griffin and Aldridge. Yeah, that's kind of a different story, okay? Yeah, you suck as the leading person for the Pistons. You don't suck as a fourth or fifth option on the Nets. It's very easy to understand, Blake. It's not confusing at all. Narratives didn't change. The scenario changed. If you put you on any other team but the Nets or the Lakers, nobody thinks that you're a great addition to that team. You would put you on the Sacramento Kings. They would have said you sucked. They would have put you on the Warriors. They would have said you sucked. If they put you anywhere but the Nets or the Lakers, who are two championship contending teams, every addition they get swings balance. So yeah, the narrative is going to change when you jump on a team that is a championship team, because every little addition swings the balance of the entire league. Now, when you add two people like that, then it way swings the balance of the league, especially when you're adding a defensive presence. But I know, like I said yesterday, I'm not trying to act like the sky is falling with this, because that's not my aim when I was speaking yesterday. Because I know it sounded like I was saying like I'm just telling the truth. They're gonna be a real hard out, but if their chemistry doesn't work, more specifically on the defensive side and the offensive side, because if it works on the offensive side, they might be able to still smash people, everybody. Because they never really hung their hat on the defensive side anyway. They just try to outscore everybody. Now you add the game of more firepower to outscore people. It's going to be real hard. It's going to be like Team USA. You know what I'm saying? Do you ever see Team USA when they're playing like Angola? It's like it doesn't matter that Angola can go on a run, but sooner or later the USA basketball team is going to hit 9 or 10 threes in a row, and it's going to be done. That's 30 points in 10 seconds. You ain't overcoming that. The Nets can do that with that team. So they can outscore you. But more specifically, if they do not click on the defense side, meaning Aldridge actually ends up taking away from what they do. Because he is not known as a runner. You know what I'm saying? He's not a cut to the basket guy. He's more of a turn your back. Same thing that I said about Blake Griffin, which Blake Griffin got to do against the Pistons. So let me clarify. Yes, he played well against the Pistons because they allowed him to do that because Kyrie wasn't there. It was just him and Harden. So he got to get a lot of ISO. He got a lot of hand up, in the post, putting his back. He got to do that against the Pistons. So he got his 17 points. Guaranteed tonight against the Timberwolves, it won't be the same thing because Kyrie's there tonight. And I got to go actually watch and see what's going on with that game. But I guarantee you that won't be the same. It won't be the case tonight. Guarantee you won't be getting 17 points because they're not going to be running plays for Blake Griffin tonight. He's going to have to get in what he's feeling. Going to be like the other night when he got one dunk. So it's like, I want people to understand. I'm saying I know it sounded more dire than I wanted it to yesterday. But what I was trying to say was, yes, the Nets are in a prime position. If they click, they should. And if LeBron beats this team, he deserves all the credit in the world for beating this team. Right? It's not his fault that Kevin Durant went and got a whole bunch of really good pieces that he didn't know how to use. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that if they click, they're unbeatable. If they don't click, they're very beatable. Because they all have a lot of flaws that if they don't work together to fix. Prime example. Harden, Kyrie, Joe Harris, all defensive liabilities, right? But they're all streaky shooters, right? So what you want to do against that team is you want to try to force one of them to beat you, right? It's not going to be somebody. More likely, it's probably going to be Harden, right? You're going to want to force Harden to shoot a lot because Harden has an ego. And if you start pressing him to shoot, he's going to end up, you put him in a lot of one-on-one scenarios, he's going to take that bait. And when he starts to miss, Harden is very, very egotistical. He's going to start shooting even though he's off. And that's going to simultaneously cut away from the other players. Kyrie Irving the same way. But the difference is he's not the point guard, so he doesn't have the ball in his hand. But Kyrie Irving will start jacking up shots left and right, even though his shot is off. You know what I mean? So, as I said, one of the things I also state is that all of these guys have egos, right? Blake Griffin has a humongous ego. You can already hear him talking now. Like, he's ready to start proving his doubters wrong. So, like I said before, he ain't going to have too many 2-point, 4-point nights without him starting to just get mad. Right? And take himself out of that game. Aldridge the same. Aldridge I don't know much about. Kevin Durant is trying to prove he's better than LeBron James. He's not going to be okay with Kyrie and Harden scoring 30 points and getting finals MVP. Harden thinks he's better than LeBron. He's not going to be okay with KD winning MVP while he got 12 points and 16 assists. He'll do that in the regular season because it really is just about stats. But when it comes down to the impact in the game, and it starts to be a situation, Harden said it, you already hear the crack starting. Harden saying he thinks he's the MVP. Kyrie Irving missing in action for no reason for 3 games when they haven't even formed chemistry with their new bonding yet. And how are they going to form chemistry? KD's injured, not even back yet. So whenever he gets back, he's going to have to fit into the flow of what they're doing. This has already become James Harden's team in his absence. So now James Harden feels like he's the commander. Now because he is. Right now, this is James Harden's team. It's not Kyrie's. It's not KD's. Harden came onto this team and became the best player on that team. He's the one that the other players look to. They know he's always going to be there. They trust him. They don't. KD and Kyrie, they could do. You can tell that team does not play any different whether those two play or not. Harden is the glue, right? So when KD comes back, how is he going to adjust to that? Now that Harden's the face, is he going to be okay being just a tool of Harden? Because that's not going to help him be seen as better than LeBron, right? Nobody's gonna say that with him when he comes in and scores 12 points in a finals game. They're gonna come in and be like, "What the hell was Harden doing everything? KD ain't doing nothing." My point is, and I don't want to go on a tangent, but the point I'm trying to get at is that when you look at that critically, there's a lot of cracks that can be exploited. And when you're playing LeBron and he hits 3 threes in a row, and it's upon the best player on the other team to step up and combat the best player on the Lakers. If AD goes out and scores 10 straight points, there's no pecking order. AD and LeBron are just they're one, right? It doesn't matter. AD scored 10 points. Most of them LeBron assisted on, right? So both of them getting their shine. Harden, on the other hand, he's assisting, but he ain't assisting to the same person. He's assisting to someone different every time he comes down. So now when AD and LeBron starts to take control of the game, and it's upon the star of the other team to rise to that level of greatness, are they going to start deferring to Durant? Right? Probably not. Harden is going to try to believes he's the best player on that team. Right? And we all know Kyrie Irving thinks he's the best player in the NBA. Thinks he's Kobe. So you think he's going to be all right? Okay, KD. No, Kyrie Irving's going to be. KD's going to be. And Harden's going to be chunking it up. So there are cracks to be exploited. I'm just saying that you got to hope those cracks happen and that they become bigger deals than they actually are. Because if they're just a situation where these guys easily set aside the ego, and that is not going to happen, because as I said, Blake Griffin has an ego, James Harden has an ego, Kevin Durant is insecure, Blake Griffin is cocky, James Harden is an a-hole and hasn't worked with any teammate he's had, no matter how successful he's been with that teammate. And Kyrie Irving hasn't meshed with any. Those are 4 very volatile personalities in that lineup. And it's all good when it's a regular season and the points don't matter and the stats don't matter. It becomes very, 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 very different when you're playing teams that are putting pressure on you to score, and you go down 3-1. You go down 2-1 in a series. And it's upon the best player to take over the next game. Well, if they all think they're the best player, that could be a big problem. So anyways, that was my mind. I just wanted to come and talk about that because I felt like, you know what I'm saying, the narrative with a lot of LeBron fans with this whole Drummond is a better fit than Aldridge. Come on, you know that's not true. That Aldridge is a better pickup for the Nets than Drummond is a pickup for the Lakers. He's a good pickup for the Lakers, but he's not a better pickup. Aldridge changed the entire scope of what the Nets can do now. But like I said, could there be problems? Yes, of course there could be problems. The chemistry could be combustible. You got a guy who used to be a pick and pop guy. Now he's going into an offense that relies heavily on the big man doing pick and rolls. Yeah, you can pick and flare and then shoot the mid range. That's not really what Harden does. Harden puts pressure on defense, and then the big man usually rolls to the basket, and he kind of either forces the big man to take it, or he either forces the big man to take him and then pass it, Or if the big man goes to him, it comes to him, he passes it. And if the big man stays with the big man, if the big man stays with the big man, he takes it up. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not really like, that's why I laugh when people say that about James Harden being the MVP. It's like, it's just, he's a master of D'Antoni's system. I'll give him that. But it's really two reads. Center, they double team you, quick pass. If they don't double team you, take it. It's not really, he's not doing what LeBron does, okay? He's not pointing out people and sending that specific person into it, because he knows when they switch that either switch is going to end up with the best person getting the ball. That's not what James Harden is doing. James Harden is running pick and roll, and he got mad at Antoine Walker for pointing it out, but I didn't see a lie Antoine Walker said. He's telling the truth. He's running the same pick. He's either ISO or pick and roll. That's all he does. And you're going to see the difference when he's playing these teams in 7-game series and he's having to actually read defenses, and that's why he sucks so bad in the playoffs. Because when you actually have to read defenses and they know what you do, and they're starting to say, okay, y'all two double team them, and then you swing and cut off the big man. Turnover. That's what Harden does. Because he only has two reads. He's like a quarterback who can't read defenses. So then he starts jacking up wild threes. Now that changes because now he got Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So now instead of him just forcing up those threes, he can just pass it to Kyrie, pass it to KD, pass it to Aldridge, pass it in the post to Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying? Shoot it to Joe Thomas. So he has way more options now, right, than he did when he was in Houston. Even though he had a lot of options when he was in Houston. You had CB3 that he could do exactly what Kyrie's doing, and he passed it to CB3. He had Aaron Gordon, the sniper out there to knock down three just like Joe Harris. Eric Gordon was also a three-point champion, right? And he had Capella going to the rim just like he has going to the rim now, right? He had that in Houston. And he's just running the same type of scheme now. That's why he's good when he has one other. But now it's a bigger difference when now you got to choose between whether you give it to KD or give it to Kyrie. And you got one less big man, one less person out on the wing to shoot that three. Now you can put KD out there to shoot that three, right? And KD's a great off-the-ball shooter, and that's true. But he's not gonna always be. He's not made to do that consistently. Even when he was with the Warriors, KD has the ISO people. He has to dribble to get his rhythm. Now, as I said, he's an efficient shooter like that, but he's not. He's gonna miss more of those than he's gonna make. He's not a set shooter. He's a rhythm shooter. He's gonna at least have to take at least one dribble before he shoots. He's not like Joe Harris that catch shoot. You know what I'm saying? He's not like Eric Gordon catch shoot. You know what I'm saying? So you putting him out there, and he's gonna fit that role. He can fit that role. But for the most part, like I said before, it's you. Jeff Green is more of that. Jeff Green does a good job of that. Joe Harris does a good job of that. But like I said, these are all scenarios in which I can say there could be a crack. But worst case scenario for Lakers fans is they don't have any ego about it. They all don't care as long as they can beat LeBron. Right? All they want to do is beat LeBron. Right? And if that is the case, then you're going to be in trouble. If that mindset is, I just want to beat LeBron, I don't care if I score 2 points, then you got a problem. I don't think the hatred of LeBron is that strong outside of Kyrie Irving. KD in his warped ass mind think that he's better than LeBron because he beat him with five Hall of Famers. Right? He's just warped as hell, and he's insecure as hell. That's why he's arguing with people every day, because he don't think he's better than LeBron. And I don't think I think in the back of his mind he's thinking, even if I somehow succeed in winning this championship, all people it's gonna put me in the same era I was already in, where people were just like, yeah, he's a great all-time great, but we don't know how good he is. He's never played on a bad team, so he's never gonna be considered the best player in the league. And I think he's too scary to ever really try to do that. But the worst case scenario, like I said, is that he does try to do this. and it blows up in his face. Meaning he will be all-time ridiculed if he goes to the finals with this team and LeBron and AD them still beat them. So in a way, he would it's kind of like the 73 win Warriors when LeBron beat them. It's like if he gets that team up there and he tried to, cheat his way to a championship and LeBron them beat them anyways, LeBron's myth, he'll never catch LeBron. LeBron will be in the stratosphere and he'll be seen as the biggest failure of all time. Like, this dude don't play on 2 super teams and got 2 championships out of them. You know what I mean? It's like this dude just doesn't want to compete, and he messed around and found out that even with all this, when he has to play mano, he's just not that good. He's not as good. No, he's great. He's just not as good as LeBron because he can't do all the things LeBron can do, defensively or offensively. But anyways, as I said before, I've always said, people try to beat LeBron by stacking the deck against him. They never want to play him head up. They don't want to face LeBron mano. They want to make it slanted so that they can make themselves look like they're better than they are. And Kyrie and Kevin Durant strikes me as one of those dudes that ran from fights. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see him, like, if some dude his size walked up to him and challenged him, I don't see him throwing down. I see him trying to either talk his way out of it or hiding behind somebody else. So, he like, when people say he kind of has to me, he has the temperament of and I don't know Kevin Durant personally, so it's very, I didn't even feel good saying this about another man, but the temperament seems kind of cowardice. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, dang, like you to me, it's like, I understand. Like, even LeBron was like, dude, I go to the Lakers, ain't nobody here. He still had him in the 3 seed before he got hurt, right? And then he come back next year, they added AD, and you would think that they broke the bank. You think people saying they had a super team because he had AD. And then people added that he had a super team because they added Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. But nobody thought it was messed up when Kawhi Leonard and George had Lou Williams, who's better than Schroeder, who was the 6-man, back-to-back 6-man, and Montrezl Harrell. No problem. That wasn't a super team. But Montrezl Harrell and Schroeder joining the Lakers made them a super team. Someone make that make sense. An undersized big man and a journeyman point guard. That's essentially telling you how great LeBron James is. Because Giannis got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is better than Dennis Schroeder. Not a word to be said, right? Nobody says anything about that. That's fine. The 76ers got Tobias Harris, an all-star. 6'10", 6'11" point guard in all-star in Ben Simmons. They added Seth Curry, the best statistically the best 3-point shooter of all time. Doc Rivers at coach. And Joel Embiid, the person that the people are seeing as the MVP, top person for MVP. Nobody calls that a super team. But LeBron getting Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell is making them, the Lakers, a super team. Like, dude, the crack you have to be, they don't have to promote crack. You just have to be a Jordan fan. Jordan fans are the most irrational, stupid people you will ever come across. They never make sense. Nothing they say ever makes sense. So, please, if you're a Jordan fan out there saying that LeBron started super teams, as I said, I'm not even going to go into it for the 100th time, because if you've been watching my channel forever, you know the story behind LeBron going to the Lakers. I mean, to the Heat. And it had nothing to do with him trying to front load. He tried to get Bosh to come to Cleveland. Bosh wouldn't come. Bosh said he's not coming So LeBron was stuck in the last hour either staying in Cleveland with Mo Williams or going to that. So I'm not gonna go in there again. That's to compare that to Kevin Durant up 3-1 jumping on a 73 win team. Like, stop it. Like, you ain't even logically trying to make sense. The unreal hatred that they have for LeBron James, I will never understand. Because that's some junk that hoes do. Like, I'm just being real. Like, what? Like you ever see those girls when they got a pretty girl and they just find any reason to say something negative about her? Because they pretty. That's the only, like, what she did. She's too pretty. They know half of the time they insecure when they're around her because she is way too pretty. So she can try to be as nice as she wants to be. She can try to be as polite to everybody she wants to be. She's going to be seen as a bitch because she's pretty. So if she says something, it's going to hurt you worse. If she acts a certain way, she's going to say, if she's nice to your boyfriend, that shit don't work. Right? Because she's pretty. Like, why you being so nice to him? Because they know he thinks she's prettier than they are. That's why girls do not like pretty girls. They don't like them around their friends. They don't like them around their boyfriends. They don't like them around their best friends, boy or girl. They don't want pretty girls around them. That's why every time you come across pretty girls, most of them have little to no friends. Because they get ousted because people just are intimidated by it. Mostly women. And I kind of get that with LeBron. It's like when you see LeBron on teams, it's like the minute he gets anybody, it's seen as, oh, see, Andre Drummond, really? See, but nobody, everybody everybody turning into a super team. Drummond is a super team. Drummond was on the team with Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose last year. And what did that? What he had talent around him. And they couldn't even make it into the playoffs. Like, so miss me, please. With Drummond being an all-star. How many times Drummond don't been to the all-star game? What, twice? Like, come on, super team? A guy that is unplayable against 90% of the league? It made them a super team because LeBron and AD are so good? That's crazy to me. They got two players. AD and LeBron. It's not their fault they're good. KD and James Harden are top 5 players as well. Kyrie Irving is supposedly a top 5 player too, in most people's eyes. So they got 3 top 5 players. The Lakers got 2. But we don't have a problem with that, right? We have no problem with that. When it was just those 3, they weren't even considered a super team. They were just considered a team missing pieces. Now that they got all these other all-stars, these guys ain't Drummond, 2-time all-star, where he scraped in as like the 6th reserve. These were all-star starters. Aldridge, Blake Griffin. Like, come on, stop it. These guys were considered top 10 players at points in their careers. But they're beyond. I'm like, come on, the dude's 2 years removed from averaging 25 points in his play, 55 games in the last 2 years. Trust me, he has a lot left in the tank. Like, stop it. But anyways, please, comment. Let me know what y'all think, because as I said before, I am beyond just annoyed with LeBron and Jordan fans at this point. It's like, come on, like let's try to at the very least have some consistency. If Aldridge would have went, if Drummond would have went to the Lakers, all his flaws would have been the only thing you're talking about. If he would have went to the Nets, and if Aldridge would have went to the Lakers, they would have had a super team. I just hate the back and forth. I don't do that. I analyze what I see. I don't sit around trying to fit narratives into what I want to be the truth. That's too tiring. I don't got time to do that. All I can do is see what I see and read and analyze what I'm seeing and give you what I've analyzed. I'm not running around here trying to make people happy. And these people running around here telling the Laker fans that the Aldridge pickup was better, was a no, didn't mean anything. You're crazy. You're not analyzing anything. You shouldn't be allowed to analyze if you truly believe adding Lamarcus Aldridge didn't add anything to the Nets. Nick Wright said that. He can't see what Lamarcus Aldridge added to the Nets. And the funny thing about it is they don't even get that when they do that, the person that they're trying to support, they're hurting them. Right? When you sit there and downplay how good Lamarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin is, how good those players are, you end up making it harder. So when LeBron beats him, he gets nothing for it. Why? Because you had to caress your own ego to make yourself believe something that is just not true. Like, come on, dude. I'm a LeBron fan as much as anybody else, but I'm not gonna sit around here and put that on LeBron to beat that team. Talking about they ain't gonna Lamarcus Aldridge didn't add anything to the Nets. Are you crazy? Blake Griffin didn't add anything to the Nets. If they didn't have Blake Griffin the other night against the Pistons, they would have lost. Stop it. He added something. The Lakers struggling to stay afloat right now without AD and LeBron. You must struggling to beat the Cavaliers and the Timberwolves without AD and LeBron. Then you gonna sit up here and try to criticize the Nets and their depth? Like, stop it. These people they ain't barely beating teams. They playing with James Harden by himself. So whether it's the style or whatever you want to say, that style is the Nets are doing it well. The Lakers, without AD and LeBron, can't play their style well. Now, they're still a great defensive team, but they can't score. They have to get all their scoring from Schroeder, Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell. And THT some nights when they decide to let the guy play. Like I said, they got talent. The Lakers got a deep bench, which is why they're at least staying afloat right now. But they need AD and LeBron. The Nets, whether KD comes back or not, they will win the East. Because it'll be worse if KD doesn't come back. If KD comes back, it's gonna be worse for him. Because they're gonna have to figure him out in a small length of time. He's hurt and he's coming back, and they're gonna have to fix the chemistry situation defensively and offensively. They're gonna have to do it in a rush. It's gonna look like crap right before the playoffs if he does not come back soon. Anyways, please comment. Let me know what y'all think. Once again, didn't mean to talk this long, but please let me know what y'all think. Comment, subscribe, and thumbs it up if you like it. All right, y'all. Peace.